When I was a freshman in college, I read Coach Polk's book because I had a baseball coaching class in college, and his book was the textbook. And yeah, I kind of got the coaching bug there. I was always more of a football guy, and then, and thought if I ever had the chance, I'd like to coach football. So.
A unique person that was incredibly interesting to always talk to, and an incredibly great coach as well, and a great family man. He sure helped get us jump-started offensively with what he was doing, and certain parts of his offense we've used up for 23 years now. Certain plays, certain passing combinations. So Mike's left a huge impact, and I know the state of Oklahoma, Sooner Nation, will always love their favorite O coordinator, Mike Leach.
Brought this sword in, this pirate sword replica, and talked about, how are you going to swing your sword? Are you going to swing it all out of control where you're open and maybe get a few people and they get you? Or are you going to swing it like this? Or are you going to practice precisely and swing it like that? And I said, they sharpen their swords, they polish their swords. Even the most derelict of pirates would do that, just like you do in the weight room with your body. Your body's your sword.
The best quarterback is the one that does the best job of getting all the parts synchronized and moving and elevating the abilities of the players around them. And that goes into my evaluation perhaps more than anything.
Well, first of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that. I'm going to say the Wildcat's out. The Trojan, does he have a horse or is he on foot? Does he have a bow and arrow or just his sword? The Bruin, definitely formidable. Another bear up there at Cal. The tree, I imagine that tree's going to get chopped down. Unless we're going to go with a bird and somebody might get pecked or something, I don't know. And then the duck might lose interest and just fly away and get out of there, which may be good advice under the circumstances. The husky, no chance. The beaver, we'll see how long that beaver can hold his breath. The ute, again, we're back to is he on horseback? Does he have a bow and arrow? Did he trade for a rifle? Because if that ute's got a rifle, there's some definite problems. And then, you'd have to get one of those Harry Potter activists to read up on how you kill a Sun Devil, because there's a lot of outside stuff there. Just as far as a beast alone, a buffalo's going to be pretty hard to tangle with. A buffalo's utterly outstanding. Well, but Butch is going to have to be clear-minded and crafty. Butch will find a way. There's no question. The Cougar will find a way. Clear-minded and crafty, a combination of stay out of harm's way and attack when you get your chances in Europe.
This is on a couple things. One is the most important thing we do is practice. The most important thing I think anybody does is practice, and and all those skills that emphasis, attitude, and all those things. Really, that Coach McCarney talked about comes into what I'm talking about, because that's where it's all reinforced is during practice. As a team, we spend some time every year looking at scheme. We typically don't wholesale change plays as much as adjust them, add a technique, figure out a way to drill them more specifically, figure out how to be more precise in how we teach the stuff. So we spend more time really thinking about practice and organizing practice than we do scheme, because but you know, what we select and what we choose to do, we try to rep it as often as we can and be as sharp and specific at it as we possibly can. And and what I'm most curious about, what other people do really, is how they practice. You know, how do you organize your week? Everybody gets so many hours in the week, and there's a fine line between what's too much and what's too little, where you're going to get the most out of people, where the breaking point is. So a real quick summary of how our week goes.
The reason they have football is because of the big guys, and you know, when O-line, D-line go one-on-one and, you know, just get incredibly violent. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you get to see those guys just go to war, you know, and it's got all the things that football entails. There's shouting, there's blood, there's boogers, there's a whole thing. I mean, and there's spitting, there's fighting, there's ripped jerseys, there's somebody grabbing somebody's throat. I mean, it's why you have football.
I've been in the league before when we were at Kentucky, but the biggest, I mean, it's, you know, this league, first of all, it's the most talented league, but that's relative. You say, wow, we have really good players. Then you turn on the film, so do they. You know, well, so as far as, you know, this league, I mean, it's, well, it's eerily similar to even going back to Iowa Wesleyan College. I mean, you know, I mean, this team's better than you, this team's worse than you, fight your ass off, see if you can beat them, you know. That part's the same, you know. So in teaching it, finding a more efficient, executing better way to do it, I mean, that doesn't change. And you know, and I know there's some SEC people out there that want something special, want something different, where you know, this guy's really competitive. The better job he does at doing his job, if he could do that better than this guy, then he'll probably prevail in his one-on-one matchups. And then per play, we're going to add all those up, and then we're going to add all that up, and in all likelihood, the team will win that makes the most routine plays.
And I'm not a guy that wants those people silent and like statues before the game, because then it's just too tight, too constipated, too, you know, just you got a bunch of guys just all wound up. I want them to enjoy being around each other, so we have a thing we call football time. If it's football time, you're focused, you're up in your seat, you're alert, anything that's football time. And I want them to have the ability to turn it on. Anything that's football time, eliminate all distractions. So if we have a meeting, everybody's alert. Okay, then they're hanging out with each other, dinner and whatnot. I want them to enjoy themselves. Okay, then we have a walk through, everybody's alert, you know, and so just a emphasis and a focus on this is what we do during football time.
You know, we played 6 top 25 teams, which was more than anybody in the country. And then we, what did we do? We beat 3 or 4 of them, and we were one of 4 teams to do that. So that's pretty good, you know. We just need to be a more consistent team, be a team that's kind of more consistent, because we're, you know, well, some of it's you, some of it just getting more experience, that type of thing. You know, because you know we have guys that have a lot of starts. We're still not real old, but we have a lot of starts, and you know, everybody say, you know, how do you like that? Well, I didn't like it at all when a true freshman out there, you know, throw them to the wolves. That wasn't very fun. Well, it's getting more fun, you know. You're always really conflicted because, you know, you create great relationships with, you know, your previous team and you know, coaches, fans, and some things like that. You know, but then the other side of it is you're going to be dead in 100 years anyway. And so, you know, you want to try to have as many experiences as you can. And you know, everybody's got goals and things that they want to accomplish. And so, you know, it is kind of a path. Really, I guess in my case, I just wanted different experiences, although I'll always cherish the experiences that I had previously.
But Mike was a unique personality. He was one of one. I think, Mike, you probably agree with me. The world needs more really smart, unique people who think and communicate differently and do so in a way that makes other people think. And Mike certainly was that. And Kirk's right. Sometimes he knew exactly what he was doing. When he takes a minute on the field to talk about the impact of Halloween candy and the various types of candy, his disdain for candy corn, but his love of Smarties and chocolate bars. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's amusing himself, and he's expressing what is different about him. I mean, I think that the conversations that I had with him over the years, Lubbock, Pullman, and Starkville. Mike never coached anywhere that was easy to get to, right? You had to work to get into those three places. And it was interesting. He thrived in those kind of outposts away from the limelight, away from the spotlight, when you could be a little bit quirky, when you could be a character, when you could go about things differently, both the way your offense was structured and the way your days were structured. And to have conversations like that with a football coach, I just treasured it, because the guys who are not all ball, who have interests in life beyond just play construction and coaching, 365, I think are interesting, and they're precious, because there are probably fewer and fewer of them, and there's no one like Mike Leach. But Kirk's right, that the topics he would talk about history, he was a very curious person. He would ask lots of questions about all kinds of people everywhere. It was part of his daily ritual. So he would ask you questions about yourself, your life, and he would seem to be genuinely interested. I'm talking about times and settings that are pretty high pressure. Kirk mentioned the game with Alabama we just did, mid-season, and it's an important game for both teams. You have this contrast in personalities between Saban and Leach, and Saban was just laughing and smiling with Leach, Saban, and myself, and you can't believe what Mike was talking about pregame. And he was talking about fertility was the topic. Okay, I'll leave it there, but things like that Saban was just, he was dumbfounded. He could not believe that his counterpart was talking about things like this and making jokes, and it got Nick loosened up. But that was Mike Leach, and I will say this too, beyond the jokes and the comedy, and I think that his little humorous things on YouTube will live forever. He was a deep dude, Mike, that had suffered some tragedy in his life. Met a player at Washington State, and then again this year at Mississippi State, whose lives were lost in the most tragic possible way. It affected Mike deeply. He did not share a lot of that. He kept a lot of things inside. And I just worry, he was about my age, a year older. I worry about these coaches in a bigger picture, Mike. The job is so stressful. They don't sleep enough. They don't work out enough. They don't necessarily take care of their diet. I worry about things like that. He's gone way too soon, and I'll miss him. And there will never be another one.